How this book is structured. My findings show that the key to successfully executing great ideas and making lots of money comes down to the actions you take after you have invested in an idea and find yourself losing or winning. For that reason, I have split this book into those two scenarios. Part 1 is called I'm Losing, What Should I Do? The chapters in this part deal with being in a situation where you have invested in a great idea and now find yourself losing money. To help you make the right decisions at such a time, I introduce you to the real-life investors who worked for me and examples of their real-life investments. Throughout the book, I have broken down those investors into tribes. I hired them as individuals, but as I pored over the data, it became clear that there were obvious behavioral groupings among them. They might have operated individually, but their decisions put them into distinct gangs. In part 1, we meet 3 of them: the rabbits, the assassins, and the hunters. Each of these groups of elite investors found themselves in many losing situations. 2 of the tribes went on to make a lot of money. 1 of them didn't. We'll look in detail at the powerful habits of the winners, the assassins, and the hunters. We'll also explore the failings of the rabbits, shortcomings which meant they lost a lot of money and I ultimately had to fire them. All of us will be able to identify with the rabbits' weaknesses. The good news is that none of us have to be stuck with them, even they could have changed if they'd identified them and made the choice. While both the assassins and hunters were masters at turning losing situations into winning ones, they adopted vastly different methods to get themselves out of a hole. It is for you to decide which group you feel most at home in. Part 2 is called I'm Winning, What Should I Do? And, unsurprisingly, deals with being in the situation of having invested in a great idea and finding yourself sitting on a paper profit. To help you make the right decisions, I show you the mistakes and virtues of the raiders and the connoisseurs. Many of you will likely identify with the raiders, who had a nasty habit of turning winning situations into losing ones. The connoisseurs, on the other hand, are the role models we should aspire to. As the tribes described what investors did in losing and winning positions. Some investors belong to more than one, as you might imagine. A good assassin could also be an excellent connoisseur. But a rabbit was by definition never a hunter. For the purposes of anonymity, no individual investor is identified or identifiable by any detail in this book. But all the important information, including the investments, is real and accurate. Every investment described in this book had many millions of pounds, dollars, or euros behind it. When you see big losers and big winners in this book, those losses and wins are real, and one or more of my real-life investors made or lost all that money. I will demonstrate how legendary investors have been easily led astray by temptations such as a new idea, love, or fear, and how the successful ones were able to escape and recover. Anyone who reads this book will be able to use the exact same methods themselves. Lee Freeman Shore, London, 2015. If I have seen so far, it is because I have stood on the shoulders of giants. Sir Isaac Newton. Introduction. I hope you weren't planning on a long career in the investment industry. My colleague gave me a look of concern as he finished reviewing my research and investigation into the performance of some of the very best City and Wall Street investors. Make sure you double-check your findings, he continued. If they're correct, you have made a discovery that will shock the public and make waves throughout the financial world. I double-checked my findings. The results were confirmed. This book was born. The wow moment. Over a period spanning more than 7 years, from June 2006 to October 2013, I examined 1,866 investments, representing a total of 30,874 trades, made by 45 of the world's top investors, all of whom I had the privilege of managing as part of my job as a fund manager at Old Mutual Global Investors. What was unique about these 1,866 investments was that each one of them represented the best money-making ideas of these investment titans during those 7 years. I had given each of these leading investors between $20 and $150 million to invest for my Best Ideas Fund, with strict instructions that they could only invest in 10 stocks that represented their very best ideas to make money. The rationale for doing so was the simple belief that the greatest possible returns on capital could be achieved by hiring the best investors in the world and getting them to invest in their best ideas. These were ideas that they had significant confidence in and were often the result of hundreds of hours of research by some of the smartest people on the planet. Given all this, I was sure that I would make a lot of money. It might surprise you, then, to be told that most of their investments lost money when the best fail. Personally, I was shocked to discover that only 49%, 920 investments, of the very best investment ideas made money. Even more shocking was that some of these legendary investors were only successful 30% of the time. I had employed some of the greatest investment minds on the planet and asked them to invest in only their very best, highest conviction, money making ideas. And yet the chances of them making money were worse than tossing a coin and betting on heads coming up every time. Ned Davis said, after studying forecasting day and night for over 30 years, I've yet to find anyone who could consistently and reliably forecast an uncertain future. What really surprised me wasn't the discovery that so many investing legends, earning tens of millions every year and appearing in annual rich lists, had feet of clay. What really fascinated me was the fact that, despite some of them only making money on 1 out of every 3 investments, overall almost all of them did not lose money. In fact, they still made a lot of it. This begged the question: how are they making lots of money if their ideas are wrong most of the time? How are most of these investment legends able to be wrong more often than they are right and still make incredible profits? What was the secret of their success if it wasn't down to an elusive Midas touch? This question made me burn with curiosity. It led me to analyze every single trade they had made over a 7-year period to try and uncover their secrets. I simply had to know what it was they did. The results of my investigation are revealed in this book. In the process, I discovered that successful stock market investing is not about being right per se, far from it. Success in investing is down to how great ideas are executed. I have come to understand that if successful property investing is all about location, 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 success in equity investing is all about execution, execution, execution. Thomas Edison said, "Vision without execution is hallucination." I have also learned that investing need not be the preserve of the so-called experts. Until now, the skill of good execution in investing has been largely hidden from the general public. This has led to a widespread false belief that great investors are great because they have ideas that at the time elude the rest of us mere mortals. This couldn't be further from the truth. It is why this book has been carefully written to have appeal to investors of every level, both private and professional. No specialist knowledge is required. As you will see later in the book, you don't even have to worry about whether an investing idea works or not if you focus on how to invest in that idea, how much money you allocate to it, and what you will do when you find yourself in a losing or winning position. Of course, in some ways I am not the first person to discover this. Leo Melamed, the pioneer behind financial futures, once said, "I could be wrong 60% of the time and come out a big winner." The key is money management. Likewise, legendary billionaire hedge fund manager Paul Tudor Jones too, a man who made his fortune from investing, is reported to have said that the reason for all the Wall Street success stories he knew was down to money management, money management, money management. 2. And George Soros, a similar self-made billionaire trader, once pointed out that it's not whether you're right or wrong that's important, but how much money you make when you're right and how much you lose when you're wrong. What is different about this book is that, for the first time ever, I have detailed evidence of how investment titans go about their money management. I know what their secrets are. And soon you will too.
Like, share and subscribe our channel. Learn and earn with Vikramjit.